Welcome back to Jungle Gap. Today we have another inside the mind of a challenger jungler where I'm going to be going through a game I played as Lee Sin, explaining my mentality, thought process, and all the fundamentals. This review will be specifically valuable if you play champions with a similar identity as Lee Sin. These are your early game snowball type champions such as Nidalee, Kindred, Rek'Sai, Volibear, Briar, just to name a few. Even if you don't play these champions, you can still learn some valuable and general jungle concepts as I talk through all of my decisions. What's up everyone, my name is Coach Leo and I'm an ex-pro jungler of 6 years, competing at events such as Worlds a total of 4 times, where I played against the best players across the globe. Now in 2024, I've been coaching hundreds of players to reach their dream rank. So if you've had enough of being the same rank every season and want to finally take action, book your first session and join the Jungle Gap Discord today. Okay, so jumping into the review now, before we actually look at the gameplay and you know have my explanation about my thought process, it's really important that we first understand that the game begins when all 10 champs get locked in. This is also when you need to lock in as well. Unfortunately, I didn't get, the recording didn't start during the load screen, but let's just pretend we're in load screen now and what my general thought process would be. I also have this little notepad here, which will be talking about these things as kind of an idea of what we're going to be talking about in this video. But yeah, let's start off with, let's talk about Lee Sin's identity, right? So as Lee Sin, we know that we are very strong in the early game. So, we're extremely strong in early game skirmishes. We're strong at ganking. We want to snowball. Compared to some other champions, we're quite free flowing. Not to say that we can't full clear, which you'll see in this video. It's not to say we can't full clear. It's not to say that we don't care about champ cycling. It doesn't mean that we don't care about any of the general fundamentals, but we are much more free flowing than other champions. And this is mainly due to just the fact that we want to, we're very opportunistic. And these 3 things kind of go hand in hand. Even the power spikes as well, which we'll be talking about more during the review, and I'll come back to these points. But as an overall identity, we can full clear. It doesn't mean that just because you're playing Lee Sin, you must level 3 gank. It's just the fact that like a gank for Lee Sin that's like 70% chance would probably be like 40-30% for a champion like Shyvana. Shyvana is much more, she's going to play to her strengths, which is clearing very quickly and getting level 6. Whereas Lee Sin's strengths kind of start at level 3. So yeah, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the pre-game plan. I'm also going to talk about the mentality. Just because we want to snowball early, it doesn't mean that we need to feel really pressured to kind of force plays. It doesn't mean just because you're playing Lee Sin that you want to just always go for like a gank, right? It depends on the information and it depends on your map awareness. And it also depends on kind of your pre-game plan and where you're actually pathing towards. So, it's because you're playing an early game champion like Lee Sin, it is important that you kind of understand how you're actually going to win the game. And this usually comes down to which objectives you're going to play for. That's one. But the main thing we want to think about when we're playing Lee Sin is how are we going to get fed? The main thing we want to think about when we're playing a champion like Lee Sin is how are we going to get as fed as possible? And usually that comes down to one question. Talking about objectives, to be honest, I don't ever think about, okay, as Lee Sin, I really want to take Dragon this game. I never think, okay, as Lee Sin, I really want to take Grubs this game. I'm always just thinking, okay, whatever is better for me, whichever is more efficient, whichever is good in the moment, I'll do. I'm very flexible when I'm playing Lee Sin. Whereas Shyvana, maybe I'll be thinking, I'll actually plan my first 2 clears around getting Grubs or getting Dragon. So in this game, the number one question I'm thinking is, where can I get a kill, right? And usually these come down to 3 things, and this is what I teach in my coaching sessions, which is that question is, where can I get a kill? It usually comes down to 3 things. Lane volatility, we'll give this a V, and we'll talk about each lane. The gank setup from your team, and the enemy's mobility. So it usually comes down to 3 things. So let's actually talk about that for each lane. So Brand versus Aatrox top lane. Volatility. Ranged versus melee, usually on the range side, you're usually just pushing and poking. And on the Aatrox side, he's starting a D shield. He's probably just going to want to chill early game. So I don't actually think there's going to be much volatility top lane. However, Brand is immobile. So volatility is like, it could be volatile. And if you're not sure, when you're asking yourself this question, if you're not sure, just say, okay, I'm not sure. I'm going to put a dash. It could be volatile. It could not be. It doesn't matter. After the game, you can reflect, oh, wow, top lane was really volatile. And you can add that to kind of like your game experience. So volatility, not sure. Gank setup. Well, we have Aatrox Q. He can EQ then W. It's not great. It's not great gank setup. It's not very reliable. It's not like an Annie stun, for example. It's not like some lock on CC. It's not like a TF stun card. Maybe even like a Nautilus Q, you could say, is somewhat reliable. So not very reliable there. So gank setup, we're going to give that a cross. Not very good. And Bren obviously has no mobility. So enemy mobility, this is a tick. So this lane, as you can see, is like, yeah, it's like, it's okay, right? And it will depend on your map awareness if you actually go to that lane. But it's not something I'm looking to go towards early. Now, when Aatrox, and this is also talking about some timers, when Aatrox gets some levels, right? So level 3, level 4, even level 5, when he gets some points in his abilities, it's much easier to kill Brand when Aatrox can actually fight, when he's not just getting poked. Because early game, he's probably going to just want to conserve his HP and CS until he gets those levels. So I'm not looking to go top early at least, unless he simply, I can just ward dash in, you know, depending on what happens. It's not really my main idea. Okay, so let's go to the next lane, mid lane. Katarina versus Akali. Okay, so let's go through these three things. Volatility. Okay, so it could be volatile. I'm going to still give this a dash because it could be volatile. I don't suspect it will be. I mean, this guy's starting D-Shield. So there's also tells about volatility. For example, if they both had Ignite here, this volatility would be a tick for sure. Because they both have Ignite, volatility essentially means how likely it is, or you know, how likely are they going to be fighting, and will you just be able to run to the lane and basically get a kill? So volatility could also mean two things. It could mean like they're going to be trading a lot, so they're going to be low HP. But volatility could also be like a blitzcrank, whereas like if one ability lands, it could just mean a kill. So you could see volatility in like kind of both ways. So mid, we're going to go through it. The volatility, I'm going to give this a dash. The gank setup is non-existent. We have Akali, and the mobility from the enemy is insanely good. So we're not looking to go mid, obviously, unless it's just a free kill. I can just ward dash in and get a kill. And now let's go to the bot lane. So volatility, generally when you have an enchanter, the volatility is not going to be, it's not going to be that volatile. Now, Lucian Melia is kind of a duo lane where, you know, this is like a combo pick. So they can trade, but I'm not suspecting bot is going to be very volatile. I think it's more so just going to be Ezreal Karma pushing the Lucian. These guys are just like kind of waiting to get some levels and to scale. And my bot lane is really trying to like push their advantage and push and poke and pressure the lane. So I'm expecting my bot lane is going to push, and I'm expecting this lane is just going to chill. So let's actually go through the three things anyway. So volatility, I don't think so. Gank setup, we have a Karma root. It's not very reliable, and she also has a slow, so it's okay. And the enemy's mobility, Lucian has a E away. You know, Melee also has the bubble to kind of push me and block me. So this is also not great. You know, Lucian also has E, obviously. So in this game, we actually have like 3 lanes that there's not really some lane that's like, okay, I need to go there, right? It's not like a Draven, Samira, Nautilus versus Pyke. It's not like something crazy. So in this game, I actually opt to play for myself because it's all about, okay, where can I get a kill? It's most likely going to be bot lane or top lane after some levels. Okay, so my thought process here is, okay, I'm going to play for myself. I'm still looking to play for myself, even as Lee Sin. I'm looking to play for myself, which is, if I kind of get a kill, then I want to try and get some farm. You know, the other thing I'm thinking about, obviously, is the jungle matchup. So, like, can I potentially invade this guy level 3? No. So in this game, there's actually a lot of no's. Like, there's a lot of things that I can't do. There's nowhere I can really kill reliably. So actually in this game is, you know, people often have this misconception. It's like, oh, as Lee Sin, you got a gank. That's not the case. You can definitely full clear. And so we're going to actually get into the game now. So as we get into it, I'm just going to go back real quick just so we can get the start of the game. So in this game, I actually opt for Raptor start. And the reason for this is 2 things. Number 1 reason, I want to Raptor start because I want to play for myself. I want my Raptors and my Krugs to spawn quickly so I can circle back and take my Raptors again. Just for a better early clear. Just because for a better early clear. I also saw recently that Lee Sin's first clear is actually quite quick if you do it in this specific way. It's actually quite fast, his full clear. So I'm opting for that. And the other two reasons is I can kind of play to help my bot lane because they want to push, right? So I'm kind of still pathing to the type of help I'm giving my bot lane is like, I'm not trying to hard force a gank, but I am at least giving my pressure to get the scuttle and to be here in case Warwick wants to do anything. This also plays into the fact that I want to play around top when Aatrox gets level 5 because I think I can really pick on this brand. I think I can actually bully him if my Aatrox has some levels. So it's playing into three things here. Helping bot, playing for myself, and also playing to Aatrox on the right timer. So here we see I'm using some pings here. I'm tracking the Warwick. I know what Warwick is doing now. He's going to be clearing to top side. And I'm letting my team know that with the communication for these pings. So right here in the early game, you can also see me panning around. I'm trying to get information. I'm trying to figure out, you know, where can I get a kill. So if I actually just go back here to look at this clear, I want to be highlighting two things from the fundamentals. I want to be highlighting the map awareness and panning and the communication. So I'm going to go back just one more time to actually highlight this. Because there's also timers where you need to look at lanes, and one of them is right before you're going to get level 3. So usually jungle timers are like, it's like 240, 230. When you finish your level 3, you're going to be looking at ganks. The other timer is generally after you do a full clear and after crap. These are the two timers that ganking junglers. Obviously, there's some in between, right? So if I path here and I kill wolves, but then bot lane is like 1 HP, this is where camera panning is really important. You need to look between lanes and even preemptively. So while I'm killing this red, I'm literally needing to make a decision. Am I going to go mid here or am I going to go top? And I need to know that information. I need to look at these lanes before I decide. So I can't like start running here and then realize, oh, I could have ganked top. It's kind of like, this is like a crossroad. Right at this section, right at this time is a crossroad. Am I going to gank mid? Am I going to gank top? Because once I commit to going to wolves, I'm never going to run from wolves to top. This is just not a thing. So this is where you're looking for icons clashing. This is the first thing you're looking for. You're looking for minimap icons actually clashing together. And you're also looking at HP. You're looking at, you know, for example, if my Aatrox just started randomly losing a bunch of HP and icons started clashing, this is like a prompt for you to glance at this with your eyes and then look and actually move your camera there. Because then you're going to be able to get the information of, am I going to go top? Is it high percentage? Or am I just going to clear down? Is it not high percentage enough? Okay. Small note here as well. I also know Warwick is pathing to top, but I know that I'm going to be here first. So if this brand was low and didn't have flash or something like that, something happened, I would also think that this is a pretty good gank because the likelihood of Warwick taking my blue side has now become like 0%. Because by the time I walk to top here, he'll already be on these camps or trying to counter gank. And so these camps are very, very safe. Whereas like if Warwick was actually clearing down and I knew that from this ward, going for this gank, you can think about it like, okay, well, what is the cost of this gank? The cost of this gank is that I'm going to get 400 gold if it works. However, the enemy jungle could take 1 or potentially 2 camps depending on how fast they are. So it's also, you know, you're calculating all these bits of information about whether you want to go top or not. So in this case, as we watch the replay, okay, I am looking at the minimap, but everyone's HP is full. Icons do start clashing a little bit. So I actually think this was a mistake here that I didn't actually look top. Do I even look mid? Let's see. Let's actually go back. Do I look at anything here? Let's just watch. So I'm killing the red. I'm looking at the minimap right now, and I'm also just obviously looking at killing the camp. This specific path that I'm taking is kind of a full clear path. As you see, it gets really low because you go QE. So that's also another reason I'm not really looking to go top at all. I don't want to mess with this Warwick early. I'm kind of understand. Okay, so I do look at mid and I look at Warwick. So I don't really want to go top here because I don't want Warwick to kind of come and clean up. I don't really want to use my pot either. So these are the reasons why I'm not even looking to go top. You know, going top to burn Brand's flash is not worth it at all. So I'm just full clearing. Obviously, yeah, well, there's a potential of and this is another thing, you know, I didn't actually mention this in the fundamentals, but knowing how to clear quickly, even on champions like Lee Sin, is really important because it's all about tempo. The faster you clear, the more tempo you have, the more spare tempo you have to actually, after your full clear, make a play. Because, you know, I'll explain a concept really quickly, right? If you clear quickly and you take Scuttle on spawn, you will have around 30 seconds, and not in this case because I started Raptor second, but you will have more available spare time to actually do something. So for example, like after you full clear and take crab, if you gank a lane and get flash, it's fine because that's not actually a waste of time because you have like 30 seconds generally before like your usually your Krug spawn. Okay. So in terms of like, yeah, this is really important to understand that clearing quickly is basically you're just creating tempo for yourself. If you clear really slowly, if I clear really full clear really slowly and I take the crab at like, I don't know, 350, all of a sudden, instead of having 30 seconds of free time, I now have 10 seconds. So actually, I just need a base straight away because you always want to be on tempo back to your first camp. If you're not back to your first camp when it's spawning, you're basically off tempo and you are like behind essentially, because if the enemy jungle is on tempo and he does his camps while I'm back here, I'm slower than him, he has tempo on me. He can now take a grub or something, just for example, and I'm just too slow to do anything. I'm just always going to be behind in tempo. And I won't go too much into detail about like the weak side, strong side camps in this video, because as Lee Sin, as I said, it's much more about this thing, creative, opportunity, free flowing. It's much more important to be like that as Lee Sin. Okay, so here we're going for a bot gank. I don't actually commit to it. Why? Why do I not commit for this bot gank? Because I know that I need to be back at my Raptors. In this case, I need to be back in my Raptors. So I'm not looking to waste time in that bot gank because I don't want the Warwick to actually attack this. I need to be... The pathing that I've decided in this game is that I need to be back here as soon as they spawn. If I'm not back here as soon as they spawn, there's a potential that Warwick could take it. And so we see here, I start to posture forwards. As soon as I realize there's nothing I can do here, right? Brain is going to base. There's nothing I can do. I simply just go back to my camp. No point wasting time up there. You know, no need to overcompensate, right? What did I write here about mentality? Just because you want to snowball early doesn't mean we should feel pressured to force plays or overcompensate. So Warwick ganks here again. You know, I know that you guys have had teammates like this, right? Just straight up inting teammates. So this time I go a little bit into this opportunistic and creative. This identity that I can be a little bit opportunistic and creative. Because they said on this extra wave, I know that there's potential that Brand is now basing somewhere in this bush. And of course, this isn't really a complete waste of my time, because even if I don't get a kill here on the Brand, I can still soak a lot of this wave because my Aatrox TP back and he has no TP. So I'm going to take a lot of his wave here. So when your teammates make inting plays, it's okay, right? You just simply say it is what it is. Opportunities will present themselves. The game is just not over because your top died twice. Make the most of the situation. And in this case, I get a little bit creative and I find a kill, which is really, really nice for me. So all of a sudden, this first clear, I didn't over force and I found something. So then, you know, obviously I take, you know, like I said as well, like a lot of times when I coach people, they make a big effort to make these camps like kind of spawn together. And really as Lee Sin, what you're trying to do is you're trying to be as strong as you can, because that's kind of like your identity. So power spikes, this is more important. Getting like a better buy is more important than these camps like spawning together. So of course I'm going to, after taking this wave, I'm just do the extra camp because it's here. It's efficient for me, right? So I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to base here and make sure like all these camps are synced up. That's not really what I'm looking to do. As Lilia, maybe I would. Actually, as Lilia, I would still take this, but you get the idea. If it's efficient for you, if it's, you know, if you're not having to run like, if this was my Raptors, for example, of course I wouldn't run all the way to my Raptors. That's too far. And so here we are starting the next round. I am buying items a little bit slow here. I'm trying to maximize the maximum amount of gold here. So when you are buying items, you want to buy, generally you want to buy damage items. You don't want to buy like Ruby Crystal or anything like that. You want to buy damage, because damage makes you clear quicker and it also makes you kill things easier, right? So like a health crystal or something like that, it's not good. You always want to buy just damage. So the maximum you can buy, you want to buy damage. Okay, so yeah. So here's the second round. And this is where I should be looking at lanes. So let's go back to, I actually want to watch to see if am I actually looking at lanes here? Because this could be a mistake, right? So out of base, you also want to be looking at lanes. Yeah, okay. So you want to be looking at lanes. We're planning what we want to do. Right now, this is where you should be calculating how you want to play. You're looking at lanes, you're gathering information. So right now is about gathering information. You always want to be updating yourself on the game state. Updates, constant updates on game state, because information is power. You can't make good decisions without information. And having information earlier gives you more time to make good decisions. So, I'm looking at bot lane already gets a double kill. They were fighting, but it was like I couldn't really get involved at that time. So it was like either they would kill them or whatever. I'm just updating on the situation. Right here, I'm communicating with pings. I'm thinking that Warwick potentially could be here because we know where his clear was, right? We know he cleared up like this. He cleared up like this. So he should be basing here and being somewhere around here. So instantly, as soon as you see the enemy, you want to ping. You want to communicate. Be assertive. As a jungle, you want to be assertive. You don't want to think like, oh, my team might not follow up here. Like, just ping it anyway, regardless. If they don't follow up, then take that into consideration. But you want to be assertive. And you want to fight right now because you're so strong. Like, I'm so strong right now with these items. I want to fight. And so, as soon as you take or kill the enemy jungle, right? This is also something I see a lot. Is after we kill him here, it's not about going back to your camps or even going to like the grubs here. You're trying to think with jungle tracking, right? You're trying to think because he started red, right? He starts red and I start raptors. So his red's going to spawn a little bit before mine. So I kind of know what's up here. And whenever you kill the enemy jungle, you always want to think, okay, what's the best thing I can take? You want to take things from front to back. Depending on how much tempo you have, will depend on how much you can take. So right here, I can only take the red buff. And I need to do it right now. I also have smite, so I know I can do it. But I can only take the red buff right now. I can't take like red, raptors, and krugs, because if I do that, he will spawn and come back. And you have to also think your laners are also using their tempo. And tempo is a resource. You don't have unlimited tempo. Sometimes you can extend like your fighting and stuff like that if you're just stronger. But generally how tempo works is we use our tempo here because we just killed Warwick. But Warwick running out of base now. And their bot lane coming as well. Look, my Ezreal's here. So when they're running out of base, they actually have new items. They have refreshed HPs. Karma's low mana here, chunked a little bit. I'm also chunked a little bit. My Akali, your lanes, they don't have a limited tempo. If I try and make my team stay here for all these camps, it's going to lead to disaster. Warwick's going to come back. Lucian's going to rotate here. Katarina can come here. It's just not good. So you have to remember your team's move are also not a resource. So as soon as we don't get the kill, I actually make the decision here to try and get the Katarina. She's very slippery. She just jumps away. I can't get my kickoff. I can't get the kill. So as soon as that happens, I actually just leave now. My turn here has been used. It's finished. I'm not even going to go for the dragon. Why? Because Karma's tempo here is bad. I'm kind of griefing if I try and start the dragon here. Because I just used her time. So it's like, it's either one or the other. You can't do both. You can't kill Warwick, take red, take dragon. You can do that if you are still stronger than the enemy. So hopefully that makes sense. Tempo is a resource. You can't have unlimited of it. League is kind of like turn-based a little bit like that. Some champions, this is why champions like Lee Sin are less turn-based because you can consistently fight. Whereas like if I'm playing a Mumu and I kind of use my turn, I go bot, I press ult, my turn's over. I have to wait for my next ult. But as Lee Sin, you're more flexible, you're more, as I say here in my notes, you're more free-flowing, right? You're more free-flowing. You're more opportunistic, so there are going to be those kind of more opportunities. And that's why these champions like Lee Sin, that's also why they're not like Nidalee as well. That's why you shouldn't really look to play them unless you really like playing them, obviously. That's the number one thing is champion mastery. But you shouldn't be looking to play them because that's what it requires. It requires that deeper understanding. Okay, so as soon as I see a play, right, I'm just getting off the grubs because what I really want to do, and this is the next really, really important fundamental. So when I'm coming here, and I see they're on the bot side, this is kind of a little bit my downtime. I'm waiting for my team to kind of like get back on the map. Okay, I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting for their tempo to kind of come and to get her tempo back, pretty much. So I'm just going to chill. I'm not going to like grief and because now Melio has a turn. You see how if I started the dragon here, it would have been a disaster. Because now Melio has a turn. Because Karma used her turn. So I'm just going to chill. I mean, grubs are pretty safe for me, right? And I see Warwick bot side on the dragon. So what does this tell me? There's a fundamental and a concept called match or trade. So whenever you're stronger, you always want to match. Okay, no matter what, you always want to match if you can, obviously, if you have enough tempo. you always want to match. And if you're weaker, you always want to trade, generally, because you don't want to fight someone where you're weaker, it's low percentage. So as soon as I see Warwick on the dragon, I already know here that I'm not just going to trade. And this is not good enough for me. Okay, as Lee Sin in this game, I have kick, I have these insane items, I have flash, all my tools are ready to go. So what do I do here? Take the grub, just one grub, finish the one grub, and then immediately get involved. Okay, start pinging, because it's not allowed. Them trying to take dragon here is not allowed. Because I'm in the game, right? And you be assertive here, and you make sure you're making a play here and stop them from doing this, because the trade, the trade is not good. Me just getting grubs for them getting dragon, that's not good. I want to fight everything. I want to be everywhere that I can. Let's say, for example, I couldn't, for whatever reason, I couldn't fight this. This is also while you're taking grubs, you need to analyze, can we contest? So when I say match or trade as well, just because you're stronger, yes, you want to match, but you also need to consider your team as well. So you need to consider the information. Okay, do they have more numbers? Did my lanes just die? Are my lanes in base? Are my lanes 1 HP? What are the ultimates? All these considerations are impacting this. So in solo queue, even if you are strong or weak, let's say, for example, you're weak, but your team is strong, yes, you still want to match. It's just in solo queue a little bit less likely that you can rely on them to actually move, right? And this is also when you're strong, you want to be assertive and you want to communicate to your team and you want to be telling your team what you want. Hey, I want to fight. Hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to do that. If they don't respond, it's fine. Just adapt to that situation. It is what it is. It is solo queue, so not always are people going to be following you. And then just do the other thing, right? Don't overcompensate. But generally, this is how you want to be playing. And so I'm getting quite active. I'm still trying to match Warwick. So I was still trying to match him here. And then this happens. This is also where, okay, my Akali dies. I'm not going to jump in here and overcompensate. Again, just because I want to snowball early, it doesn't mean that I should force plays or overcompensate, because I don't have ult here. I can't save him. I can't get a double kill here. If I fight here and I try and save him, all that's going to happen is I'm going to die as well. So just like the same way Aatrox dies, your mid dies, it's okay. The game's not over. More opportunities will present itself. Simply just soak the wave. So here we go, soaking the wave. Try and get every minion you can, always. And now, this is interesting, because I want to base, okay? Because fundamental, power spikes. I know I have my opportunity here, okay? A big item spike. I think I have opportunity and maybe even mercs as well. But I have a big item spike here. So right here, I'm calculating, okay, I want to base. However, two things just happened. Karma starts roaming to these grubs, and Aatrox comes back. Or did he TP? I'm not sure. I think he TP'd. No, he walked. So here, right, Aatrox needs to collect this wave, but Karma is coming here. So by the time Karma walks here and Aatrox clears this wave, there is a potential that we can actually match here, right? There is a potential that we can match here. So I think this decision was a little bit more like, okay, I was kind of just, obviously I always want to force because I'm playing Lee Sin. Sorry, not force. I always want to fight when I'm playing Lee Sin. But in this case, I could easily see myself, okay, just take the base. Basing for opportunity is also good. But the thing about Karma's identity as well is she also really wants to help me play with jungle, run around the map and kill everyone. So, I opt to go for it in this case. For example, if I didn't think that it was going to be, if I thought, okay, Warwick has already finished them. If I thought, okay, they have more numbers, we also see Milio bot as well. So there's plenty of information that you need to make to kind of gather and make decisions very, very quickly. I can't stress that enough, especially with these kinds of champions. Okay, so Warwick spawning in 2, I'm always thinking about what's the best thing I can get. So in this case, we actually have 4 people top, okay? But I'm still kind of scared of Katarina and Brand. So I opt just to go for the grubs. And it's also because I don't have smite. So I don't want to take the Gromp or the blue right now, just because I don't have smite. I don't want Brand to just walk in and just, throw some fire. I think if I did have smite, I would have gone for blue or Gromp. I'm also low as well, obviously. And this is kind of leading to, I think, the biggest mistake of this game, which you'll see in a second. We take the grubs. The correct play here is obviously, what did I just talk about before, right? People are respawning, and our turn is basically ending. So this is exactly where you want to just have some chill downtime. Let Karma base and go defend bot. Let Ezreal go defend bot. Let Akali catch his wave. I don't know what Aatrox is doing, which is going to lead to the next thing I'm going to talk about. But this is definitely, you can see where I didn't have that downtime of just like spending gold. I got too lost in the source. I got too lost here in like being opportunistic. And this is what happens because of it. And this leads on to a kind of a big chase here. But you can see that the time where I actually invaded his red and I actually just left, this was good discipline. I actually just left and I realized that it was a bad play. And even me, I get influenced and I get kind of sucked in to these sorts of plays. Aatrox is, I don't know what he's doing there. And this is like the result of it, right? This is the result. I die. And I lose my agency here. I lost my agency in this game a little bit here. I didn't lose it completely, but I lost it. And I even type here, let's not play around this Aatrox because he is 0-5. So when you make a mistake, okay, try not to dwell on the mistake. And what I always teach the players that I coach, the junglers that I coach, is whenever you die, make a mistake, whatever it is, just think what's next. Okay, so what's next for me in this game is that I want to clear from top down. I want to clear my red, and I want to play around bot. I don't want to play around top anymore because, you don't want to try and help people that are losing. You only want to play towards the strength, and you want to snowball the people who are ahead. And that's just because, there's going to be more opportunities where people are winning than opportunities when people are losing. You'll still take, if Brand randomly starts diving your Aatrox, it doesn't mean that you don't go there to get the free kill. It just means you don't try and save or bandage Aatrox, bad lane. So immediately here, because I'm thinking what's next, and I have my item, I have my ult coming up. So this is also really important that I don't just, and I think this is just because I asked what's next. It's important that here, when you die here, you don't dwell and think, oh, I just threw my game and I can't carry anymore, whatever it is. And then you just have like this round where you autopilot full clear. This is bad. Still, the information that's available to you, I have ult, I'm super strong, I have opportunity, I have my full item. I'm immediately looking again to play with Karma. I'm skipping all my camps. So this is kind of where like the weak side, strong side camp thing is a thing. You clear your weak side camps and then you have the opportunity to skip your strong side camps because you can make a play here and then simply come back to them. The whole idea with the weak side, strong side camps is that you want to be playing in kind of like this circle because you want to be in proximity. All these camps are kind of in proximity to the lane I want to play around, right? So that's the whole idea. Clear your weak side camps and then you are allowed to skip these camps as soon as you can make a play. So I am kind of looking for his camps here, mainly to fight with Karma because we just killed the Katarina. And this is where like the creativity comes in again a little bit. And this is the difficult part about these champions. The creativity comes in. Warwick shows top. Warwick showing top means turn around and make that big impact play, right? This is like the GG of the game because kind of whichever bot lane, I mean, mid is also really important, but whichever bot lane comes out ahead this game is generally the team that's going to win. Because top lane, I mean, Brand, I guess, could carry, but not really. I mean, Ezreal Karma is also really, really good versus Brand. So what this tells us is that asking what's next is really, really important. But it's also that the fundamentals and having good awareness and having good tempo, these things don't automatically just win you the game, okay? These fundamentals put you in a position to make a play like this bot dive. That's the main thing we have to realize. So the amount of players I've coached where they say, oh yeah, my clear is good, my tempo is good, whatever, all this is good, but I'm still losing. The reason for that is just because you need to identify the big, high, impactful plays. The fundamentals gives you the ability to be in the right place at the right time. That's how you should kind of think about it. Okay, so, I have 2k gold here. I'm looking for camps. Dragon is spawning. So right now I already overstayed too far past. I don't want to base now. I'm still feeling, obviously sitting on 2k gold is not very good, but I'm still feeling strong. This is one of those times where my entire team is already ready. So, we're kind of getting into the mid game here, which we're going to talk about uptime and downtime and how to play around the mid game. This is for most junglers, but obviously we're talking about Lee Sin today. In the mid game, because I didn't base now, okay, so you need to think in the mid game, you want to sync up your tempo with your team. Do you see how my Ezreal and Karma here are running out of base? The problem if I base right now is that when they're ready to go and ready to do things, when they have tempo, I'm going to be in base and I'm going to have bad tempo. I'm not going to be synced with them, right? I'm going to be behind them. And that's not good. I'm griefing them. So right here, when I already overstay, when I already miss like the bus, when I already miss the train to base, when I already don't sync my base with them, I just need to overstay now. Okay, now I just stay. It doesn't matter about my gold. I'm 2k, whatever. Just stay. Because I need to play on this timer. Where all my team is ready to go, I need to be here. If I'm not here, and if I'm in base right now, and my team fights and dies, obviously it's not my fault, but it is solo queue. So this is things that you need to consider, that your team, when they're ahead, when your Ezreal and your Karma are strong, you need to realize that they want to fight. Okay, they don't want to just wait for you. And I know this sounds like, you know, well, they should just wait. Obviously they should, yes. Better players will wait. But in a general sense, you know, 80% of the time or 70% of the time, your team will fight. And you need to be ready on the same tempo as them to fight with them. And we'll talk about when to have downtime. But right now is an uptime. When your team is getting ready, when your team is ready to make a play, that's uptime. So you want to be with them. There are some cases where you have like an insane item spike. In that case, you just need to communicate to them, back ping them off, ping your item, ping the gold, whatever it is, communicate with them. So I have 2k gold now, right? So what do I decide to do here? Let's see. I stay on the map. Now, you could also see this as okay, I'm being really greedy, but I still want to kind of be in proximity. But generally, when you make a play in the mid game, so you can see the game still as like turn-based. So I made a turn here where I killed bot, I took the bot tower, I took the Krugs, I took this, I haven't based for a while. So this is downtime, okay? This is the time where you actually want to just clear your camps. Another thing is that my Aatrox died. My team's tempo line is still good, so it's still uptime, but there's nothing to really play for. Okay, there is the Rift Herald, which I will say that I think in hindsight, I can clear my camps here. It is being a bit greedy, but I generally want to be playing for the next objective, which is Rift Herald. So here I actually Blast Cone to get ready to still kind of support my bot lane. And now I think is the time where I'll choose to base. Okay, so I choose to base now. We're also syncing up bases together. You see this, Karma bases, Akali bases, and I base. So this is really good. We're syncing up our tempo together because what's going to happen in the next round, right? So that was a little bit of downtime, just a small bit of downtime where I was clearing my blue. But now this is not time to farm, okay? You do not want to do this round and just full clear like this or full clear like this. It's time to go, go, go. So when your tempo lanes like this, look, everyone's on the same tempo. This is where you want to play into their jungle, into the objective, and, you know, past your camps. So you can do a sneaky camp, which is what I like to call it. You take a camp on the way. You know, there's no problem with this. It's efficient. You want to take the camp. But we're not taking Krugs. We're not taking Gromp. We're not taking Wolves. We're closing out the game. This is how you close the game out when you're ahead, okay? So you want to think about tempo lines. You want to think about syncing your tempo. You want to think about uptime and downtime. So, like, for example, if my teammates like troll here and die, okay, this is just a hypothetical. If my team here trolls and dies, this is not my fault, obviously. I get the Rift Herald. And then it becomes downtime because your team trolls and dies. It's not time to keep doing uptime because they're dead. And when they're dead, their tempo lines are here in base. This is the time where you go and farm your camps. Okay? So we get the Rift Herald. It's still uptime. Yep, still uptime. Can't actually remember what I do here. Okay, so we get engaged on. I try and disengage. Right now, right? So the brand is mid. Okay, so I was already kind of pinging my team back here, which is what you can do as well, right? Try and communicate your best you can to kind of shot call for your team. I think I ping back here. Yeah. So I back ping here. I should have been more assertive, but the problem right now is that we're mid and there's no enemies catching the side lanes, right? So this is a bit of macro in the mid game. You want these lanes to push and pressure, so then the enemy team has to match here with numbers at least. And when they match here with numbers, so this is also about using Rift Herald, right? If Brand shows bot right now, right? If he shows bot clearing this wave, so you want to wait for this. So right now is not the time to use Rift Herald mid. Even though this tower can just die to Rift Herald, you can get more if you wait. And you need to wait for this guy to pressure here, so then the Brand goes either top, and then you also need to wait to pressure here, so Akali goes bot. Because right now there's a timer where their entire team can come and kill us. So I should have been more assertive here. I should have been spam pinging. But yeah, this is the time where we should not rift mid. And there he is. Because he doesn't show on the side lane, Brand shows up here. Right? And this is how this leads to this. Katarina could have also been here, right? And this is what can lead to these kinds of situations. So what do we do in this situation? all we do is we back ping our bot lane. Our bot lane respects. These guys push like this. And then simply when they show on these lanes to catch these waves, because they have to. If the thing is right now, if we do not do anything and they send 5 people mid and we have 3 people mid, okay, they're just going to be losing waves. They're just going to be losing this wave. They're going to be losing this wave. They're going to start just bleeding out golden XP, which is, we're in a winning position. So no need to overcompensate. No need to force plays. No need to force Rift Herald here. Even, look, Katarina's even TPing here. So they have 5 people mid, right? So you just let this happen. This is where you don't fight them 5v3. And I know this is easier said than done in solo queue, but the most you can do is identify, okay, they're not showing on sides. They could have 5 people mid. 5v3. Should we match this or should we trade? Okay, we should trade. Trading kind of just looks like you just take your camps. You just wait. You go here, you take wolves. The enemy shows on these waves now. They show here and here. And then on this next wave, this is when you Rift Herald. And you can Rift Herald 2 towers. Because the enemy is having to catch these waves. They're always going to lose something. If they come mid, they're going to lose top tower. If they go top, they're going to lose mid. So it's always a lose-lose for them. And so Ezreal dies. Okay, this is going to happen in your game. And this is where we talk about downtime. Okay, this is where you actually farm your camps. No, you don't need to go mid. You don't need to go bot. You don't need to go top. You just have downtime. So downtime, it could also just mean, defending mid tower, getting as much farm as you can. And your side lanes should also, obviously, again, this is solo queue. Maybe you're playing in lower elo as well. This happens in every elo though, so it doesn't really matter. You should also kind of back ping. As soon as you lose pressure mid, now if your side lanes push, what's going to happen is that because you have no pressure mid, you won't be able to trade anything. Whereas like if my Ezreal was alive here and we could pressure mid, even if they sent like 2 people to kill my Aatrox, we would at least trade 2 towers, which is okay. Like Aatrox dying as a distraction, as a 0-5 distraction, it's okay because we're actually trading something back. But right now there's nothing to trade back. We can't rift mid and get as much as we could. So we should be playing downtime. Okay. So I think I shouldn't be doing this right now. I think this is probably another mistake. Right now we should just be having downtime. We should just chill. I should have just done like my Gromp, maybe even get a base. I think this is kind of a waste of time. So, yeah, we can see a mistake here. This is a waste, and you can see it's a waste, right? Because we can't do anything. I could, obviously, having Gromp as well is, like, not a big deal, but you can just see kind of the fundamentals of it. I should have just done Gromp. And then I would still be here. So, basically, I'm just looking to sync up, like, tempo with Ezreal then, because I take Gromp, and then Ezreal comes and pushes mid, and Karma also pushes mid, and then we have the same kind of scenarios before, where we can all... If top gets ganked, we can rift mid. If bot gets ganked, we can rift mid. If mid gets ganked, they can push sides. Okay, so let's watch. So fight happens. Now I'm on tempo. So this is now good. I shouldn't be on camps now because, again, all my teammates are ready to go. So fight happens. We're kind of playing slow because we shouldn't fully commit to this because they, again, have more numbers. Katarina shows this, so we will respect. I accidentally use my Rift Herald, thinking it's a trinket. Happens. I think some trolling ends up happening here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm trying to rift mid, I guess, and I failed the drifting, so I need to go back to driving school. I actually think, and this is also about mechanically, Lee Sin's a harder champion. My Lee Sin mechanics are no... I was also playing Lee Sin. I think I used to be pretty good at Lee Sin, but now coming back, old hand mechanics... I could easily kill this guy, but I need to have better mechanics, right? So, champion mastery, Q, flash kick, or Q, war dash kick, or even just war dash kick Q. This guy was dead. I think I was too fixated on, trying to hit the tower. But as Lee Sin, as Nidalee, of course, I always talk about this. You need to have, you don't need to be crazy stylish, okay? But you need to have some hands. And now look, I'm playing uptime. I get punished for it because I play uptime, but look, everyone's having downtime. No one is ready to fight here. No one's ready to pressure. So I just die for free. And I think also Ezreal dies here. So another big mistake in this game. We end up at least trading 1, which is not too bad. But you can just see here, if I go back, right? No one is ready to pressure. So that's, they also just TP. It was a nice TP from Brand. But no one's ready to pressure. So you have to remember in these times where no one's ready to pressure, when no one is, doing this, you just take camps. It's just downtime. Or you're trying to base with your team. So if I was alive here, I would have liked to base again with my Karma and my Akali somewhere right now because I have an item. So instead of dying here, what I should have done is just based and synced up with them. The next round in the mid game starts. Akali is dead, right? So Akali gets caught and dies. So what is it? Just downtime, just farm. No need to go into his jungle because we're just waiting for everyone to kind of get ready on the map. So this is when you should be deciding to farm. And now we're syncing up, and now I'm skipping. Look, I'm skipping my bot side camps because it's time. This is uptime now. So if I go back. Right now, downtime. Right? Ezreal's in base. Look at all the tempo lines. This guy's here. This guy's here. This guy's here. And this guy's dead here. And I'm here. These tempo lines are all desynced. So if this guy pushes this tower and does this, nothing we can trade. If he dies here, there's nothing we can do. It doesn't matter. He's just going to die because no one can play off of his pressure. If Karma dies here, nothing we can do. So this is the perfect time. This is the perfect scenario, this map right now. This is when you want to clear your camps. Then, good example of downtime right here. Then let's look at the uptime. Skipping wolves here. It's time for uptime. It's time to get vision. It's time to make sure that we get these waves in. So even if your time, obviously, ideally you want to farm camps that are close to the lanes that you're playing around. So ideally, I could farm like his Raptors and his Krugs here. That's ideal. But you would never obviously want to be doing your wolves here because it's too far from like the areas that you need to be. So let's just watch what happens. We're setting up vision. So we're getting vision control right now. We're also kind of shadowing the bot wave, but Akali doesn't push it. She decides that she wants to do something else. I'm pinging that she should push it. Again, right now. So they have 5 people here, right? So we don't want to just slam 4v5 in right now. We want to play really slow. Another thing is that this dragon really doesn't matter in this game at all. Either team getting this dragon does not matter one bit. So you see, as Lee Sin, I'm not trying to make some flashy play. I'm not trying to make some kick Q flash, kick Lucian into my team. I'm not trying to do anything here. There's no need to make a flashy play because we're already winning. Okay, Aatrox is taking this tower. I'm not actually sure if Aatrox has TP or not, but I'm not really even trying to rely on this guy to TP. So I'm just playing very slow. Very, very, very slow. Not trying to do anything flashy. I'm not even trying to take this Q. Right? No need to do anything. You're already winning. Play slow. Dragon is still when Dragon is full HP, all the pressure right now is on the enemy team because all they're trying to do is secure this dragon and then base and defend this guy. But right now we're just winning. Obviously, we also have really, really good poke. So I'm obviously playing to my team fight, which is my team kind of, I mean, without Aatrox, Ezreal Karma just wants to poke. They want to use their range to poke, which is what we're doing so far. And then the HP has become low enough to where we can actually go in, right? And so I see Akali has this flank. And so we end up just winning 4v5. Yeah. So we end up just winning the fight 4v5. Just because we understand how to play the team fight. We don't rush things. We don't try and, do any flashy plays. Nothing unnecessary that we don't need to. And, we go in at the right time. And we understand that Akali has a flank. So then we're finding the right opportunity to actually make the play. And, we're always looking for the best thing to take first. So if I actually go back here, after we win the fight, okay? So you win the fight. The best thing that you should always look about these two things, okay? The death timers and the best thing we can take. So the best thing right now we could take is probably Baron, if it was up. It's not up yet. It's up in 15 seconds. So we can't take the Baron. The next best thing is trying to get camps into Dragon here. And at this point, you're trying to just think about, okay, how much time do I actually have? Because I need to be able to get this Dragon and then base and then be on tempo again with my team. So here, I think I can sneak a couple camps. My team's spam pinging me to take Dragon, but I'm still looking for the camps to take on the red side. This is also good from Ezreal. So I mean, this doesn't really affect or this isn't really a jungle thing, but kind of splitting up the resources. So, someone takes mid, someone takes the top camps, and someone takes the dragon. This is really, resource management is what you want to do. However, we almost get punished for it here, right? Obviously, we're too strong here. So, but this is what can happen when you try and split your resources. People can identify that and be like, oh, wow, this Lee Sin soloing dragon. So generally, it's better to do things together. But if you want to be hyper efficient, you can do things like that. Okay, so what is this now, right? Is it uptime? Is it downtime? You can ask yourself that question. It's downtime. We're waiting for the team. This is the perfect time to farm. I have 2.6k. Okay, so maybe I'm trolling. Maybe this is a time where I should have based if I just go back. Yeah, I should have based. I should have based with my Ezreal right now. These bot side camps don't matter at all this game. So I should have based. So it is downtime, but it's downtime where I should base because I have a lot of gold. If I didn't have a lot of gold here, this is the perfect time to farm. But yeah, I'm trolling here. I'm trolling it by having 2.7k and just farming. I'm being greedy. Sometimes you can be greedy. You just need to find out the when you should or shouldn't. I have 2.8k. I'm trolling. So now I'm playing uptime with my team. And now I'm basing. So I'm doing the ultimate mistake. Karma recognizes this, so she kind of replenishes her ward. So you see how sometimes... Actually, no. I'm not going to say this is an ultimate mistake. I'm going to actually go back. So I'm actually farming an item here, right? So I think I'm waiting for Edge of Night, which is 2.7. No, how much was it? I think I click it here. Okay, 2.8. So back here, when I decided to not base, okay, there needs to be a good reason for it. So I think Edge of Night is a decent reason. And yeah, this is where like it gets a little bit in between, you know, there's not a formula that you can just, so to speak, follow. But if I can farm here my items and my team can actually, this is a worthwhile base. Okay, I should base now because another thing to understand is that I actually stayed here to get the vision control, right? And vision control is important here because now that we have control of this, if I base, they can't simply just rush the Baron. They actually have to do like push, they have to push mid, they have to clear the vision, and then by that time we can contest. So, for example, if I didn't have my item here and I based, it would be terrible. I should just stay. However, if you do have a big item that you can buy, and if you know that after these 4 camps that you can buy a big item, do it. It's worth. So I actually take back what I said about this being a big mistake. I think this is actually correct. Just buy very quickly. Try and communicate to your team, hey, I have a big item here. So I think that I actually did ping this. Yep, I ping here, Edge of Night, can purchase. So everyone knows, hey, this guy's basing. I have a big item buy. Just know that sometimes your team will fight here. It's not your fault. This is just the way of League of Legends. There's decisions that you can make. And I think this game is coming to a close. Akali is bot here. We're playing slow again. Okay, so I do try and make a fancy play here. Akali should have TP'd straight away, not going to lie. Lucian also isn't really a priority target, I don't think. So this would be a situation where I didn't need to make the fancy play. And as the Lee syndrome is, you just go for it. I mean, I will say the mentality around when you make these plays is it's fine to go for them and it's fine to test your limits. Okay, I would never discourage testing limits, but just know that you don't have to do it. Okay, it is good though to still push those limits and test your mechanics and test yourself and reflect. Oh, I couldn't have done that because this, and this, and this. It's okay to make a mistake as long as you reflect on it and you become a better player because of it. So don't be scared. Don't be scared to make mistakes. Essentially, just you know take for them what they are. Okay, so skipping forwards, you know, we see Lucian here. I don't know if I actually kill him or not. No, he's too far. Maybe I do kill him. No, I'm trolling. Okay, so, you know, look, I'm playing uptime when it's downtime. So another mistake, look. Tempo lines. All over the place. So another mistake. I thought that I could get to him and one-shot him before, so it's called a quick it's called a quick play, but I can't. And I end up... Do I die for it? Maybe I get saved. Okay. Yeah, so it was a mistake, but I don't get punished for it. Karma OP. But yeah, mistake nonetheless. So, okay, so some team fight starts. This is kind of being a little bit opportunistic in the fight. And I think this is kind of going to sum up the replay, pretty much. I don't think there's much more I want to talk about. Knowing your role in a team fight and being a little bit like, okay, do I need to kick him in? Can I just play kind of like front to back? Should I interrupt Katarina, for example? That's a good way I should think about, should I play this fight? Should I kick Warwick away from ulting, like after he ults? Should I kick him away from like my Ezreal, for example? These are the things that you want to think about. Okay, what's my job in a team fight? Okay, this game, I don't need, like maybe the Lucian was giga fed. And maybe kicking him in is like the win to the game, right? But in this game, he's 2-8. So like... In this game, I definitely should be thinking, kick Warwick away, cancel Katarina ult, stuff like this. And this is going to... Okay, no, we don't end yet. But I think I'll just skip towards kind of like the last fight, I think. So yeah, so in this team fight, like I just said, I should be thinking about that. I should be thinking, what's my role? Which I think, okay, so they're all just funneling into, let's just watch it. Ran gets caught. I play for the smite. Oh wow, that was a mountain soul. That's crazy. Okay, so I just play for the smite. We don't talk about that Q, and now the game is over. So this is going to conclude this video. Thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. I'll try and answer as many as I can. Let me know also which kind of champions, any kind of video suggestions for the future. And I hope you can use this video, find it helpful, and apply some of these things to your games.